A new episode of Dragon Ball DAIMA just dropped, and to be honest with you all, I think this might have been the worst episode of the anime so far, at least in terms of story and coherence. But this episode had some pretty interesting moments too, including Vegeta and Piccolo in action and the introduction of Dragon Ball's newest major villain. Anyway, let's dive into all of that. Stay connected in the channel and let's go to the video. The name of this episode is Thieves. The episode starts with Goku and the others traveling in their airplane, but then Pansy throws a tantrum, saying she wants to rest somewhere nice so she can take a bath and sleep in a proper bed. She gives Goku a hat and tells Glorio no one will recognize him with it. Glorio isn't in the mood to deal with her whining, so he just agrees. The group goes to a hotel, but the people there don't seem very trustworthy. When Glorio goes to sort out their accommodations, Pansy casually mentions that he has a lot of money. Shin asks if it's her dad, King Kadan, who's funding him. Pansy says no, adding that her dad is super stingy and will probably only give Glorio anything after they defeat Gomah. But while Shin and Pansy are chatting, Goku decides to mess up and takes off the hat. When Pansy and Shin notice, Pansy shoves the hat back on his head. But by then, two pickpockets nearby have already spotted Goku. They recognize him as the kid everyone's been talking about, the one who defeated the Tamagami. They also notice the bag where Pansy put the Dragon Ball and figure it must be in there, thinking it'll fetch them a good price. Later, back in their room, Pansy finishes her bath and tells Goku to take one too. Goku doesn't really want to, but Pansy nags him until he agrees. Since he didn't bring any clothes, she lends him hers. When Goku comes out of the shower, he's wearing that outfit that I never imagined I'd see him wearing. It's really weird, guys. As Goku steps out, he notices there's already a banquet laid out on the table. They start eating, but then Majin Werewolf starts causing trouble downstairs. When they leave their room to check it out, the werewolf, who's in cahoots with the thieves, gives a signal. At the signal, a Majin bird smashes through their room's window, grabs the Dragon Ball, and flies off. Goku tries to chase after him, but the guy is too fast and escapes before Goku can catch up. Luckily for everyone, Pansy, who's no fool, had placed a tracker on the Dragon Ball, so they can easily track it down. Next, we see the thieves' hideout, where the werewolf we saw earlier turns out to be the same guy we first saw talking to the Majin bird. The Majin bird arrives with the Dragon Ball, and they're all thrilled, thinking they hit the jackpot. But their luck runs out when Goku shows up. They try to run from Goku, leading to a chase scene where they basically make Goku look like a clown. You know those games where there's a fool who keeps trying to catch the ball from a group? Yeah, that's what they turned Goku into. And honestly guys, I know they were aiming for a funny scene, but I found it so inconsistent. Like, Goku should easily be able to take the Dragon Ball from these guys in one move, but nope, they made him look like a fool. To make it worse, at one point, Goku tries attacking the Majin bird, and the guy simply dodges all his attacks. Dude, that's just ridiculous. And I know Goku wasn't using much power against those guys, but he really wanted to get the Dragon Ball. He wasn't there to play games with them. So he was seriously trying to get the sphere, and the fact that he couldn't take it from those two clowns was just ridiculous. Anyway, the scene ends with them recovering the orb, and Glorio using his lightning whip to send the thieves flying. After they get the ball back, Glorio compliments Pansy, and they even share a fist bump. I didn't see that coming at all. Glorio's usually super grumpy, especially with her. After that, they spend the night at the hotel, and the next day they continue their journey. According to Glorio, they're supposed to reach the warp later that day. Meanwhile, things aren't going so well for Vegeta and the others. They also spent the night somewhere, but when they woke up, their plane had been stolen. I swear, Glorio and Hybis are such idiots. Everyone knows theft is rampant in the third world, yet they still left the plane out in the open like that. It seems like the same thing happened to them as what Goku's group faced when they arrived in the third world. Vegeta got into a fight in the bar, beat everyone up, and the locals stole the plane out of spite. One interesting thing though is that when Vegeta fought the Majins at the bar, he didn't seem as affected by the heavy air as Goku was. That means Vegeta has already adapted to the third world's dense atmosphere. and apparently much faster than Goku did. And there's another intriguing detail in this scene, guys. Bulma noticed that Hybis has an eye on his belt. He says he found it in the mountains a while back. Well, we can't be absolutely sure, but it looks like this could be the third demon eye, the incredibly powerful artifact that Gomah has been searching for. Could it be that Hybis ends up becoming the Supreme Demon King? That would be wild. Meanwhile, over in the first demon world, at Gomah's castle, Degesu has just received intel, probably from the military police, and informs Gomah that the Earth crew are in the demon realm and have already taken the third world's Dragon Ball. Gomah loses his mind when he hears this, completely shocked. Degesu says they're probably heading for the second world's Dragon Ball next, and Gomah orders him to take action. Something worth noting is how terrified Degesu seems of Gomah. He's visibly shaken whenever Gomah yells at him. Honestly, it looks like Degesu might try to do something about this situation. Nobody likes living in constant fear, right? Keep an eye on this guy, I'm telling you. Back to the third world. Goku's group arrives where Vegeta's group is, but it turns out they went there for nothing since Goku's group tells them there's no room on their ship. Pansy says she'll ask her dad to get them another ship and then they leave. Like, couldn't they have just said this over the phone? Did they really have to go all the way there just for that? Felt a bit pointless. At least we got some interesting stuff out of it. For starters, as we expected, Pansy and Bulma hit it off right away, which hints at a solid and productive friendship developing between them. Also, Goku mentions he'll go after the Dragon Balls and suggests that Vegeta and the others could go after Gomah to defeat him if they want. This might be another clue that my theory about Vegeta becoming a villain in Dragon Ball DAIMA could come true. In the last video, where I analyzed the previous episode, I talked about this exact scenario. Vegeta and his group heading to the first world before Goku, leading to complications there. Right after Goku's group leaves, the bandits show up to mess with Vegeta and his group, wanting revenge for what Vegeta did to them the day before. When Vegeta confronts them, it becomes crystal clear that he's fully adapted to the heavy air of the third world. He moves effortlessly and beats the thugs up with ease. Piccolo also lands a punch on one of them, but it's hard to tell if he's still affected by the air or not. We'll have to wait for more of his fights to know for sure. Vegeta grabs one of the guys and demands they return the plane. Obviously, the bandit agrees, not wanting to get beaten up again. So, it looks like this whole thing with Vegeta's group losing their ship didn't really serve any purpose other than getting them to meet Goku, who told them to head to the first world to deal with Gomah. In my opinion, making them lose the ship just for this was a huge waste of time. Vegeta's fight with the bandits was cool to watch, but they could have come up with a better excuse for it to happen. And that conversation with Goku? It could have easily been done over the communicator. Honestly guys, it didn't make any sense. It felt like filler to pad out the episode. Now finally, we get her appearance. The star of this anime, Dr. Arinsu. As usual, Arinsu brings some interesting stuff to the table. Dr. Arinsu is hanging out with the witch Marba, watching her perform some of her magic. And then, we learn something really intriguing. Marba is using Cybermen seeds in her experiments. Who would have thought we'd see Cybermen seeds being used at this point in the story? And back in the saga where the Cybermen first appeared, who was the villain? Who? Oh yeah, a guy named Vegeta. I'm telling you guys, villain Vegeta is gonna happen. Anyway, Marba says she had a bunch of Cybermen seeds but now only has 2 left, meaning she's been using them a lot in her experiments. They plant one of the seeds, and suddenly, this green tree-like thing starts growing in the cauldron. Marba says it worked. Using a Cyberman as a base, they combined several monsters and finished it off with Majin Buu's essence to create the newest Majin. And its name is Majin Buu. It seems like Janemba isn't making an appearance after all, even though this Majin Buu kinda resembles Janemba's first form in terms of colors. I don't know about you, but I thought the design was a bit too simple. Let me know in the comments. Did you guys like Majin Buu's design? Arinsu immediately wants to run a big test and orders Majin Buu to defeat Tamagami number 1 and retrieve the Dragon Ball. Marba is hesitant, asking if Arinsu is sure about sending him against a Tamagami right away. But Arinsu replies that he's useless if he can't take down a Tamagami. Majin Buu doesn't seem worried at all. He smiles and agrees to the order. And that's how episode 9 of Dragon Ball DAIMA ends. In the preview for the next episode, we learn episode 10 will be titled Ocean. We see Bulma all happy, checking herself out in the mirror, and then talking to Hybis. Honestly, the preview was pretty lame. Nothing interesting at all. Probably the weakest one we've seen so far. So, that was episode 9 of Dragon Ball DAIMA. I found it a bit weird overall since most of what happened didn't make much sense. There was all that stuff with the thieves, which ultimately didn't lead to anything significant. Then there was that completely unnecessary scene of Goku's group meeting Vegeta's group. It felt like the whole episode was just filler. The only parts that stood out were Gomah finding out about the invaders in the demon realm, and the final scene with Arinsu, Marba, and Majin Buu. Even the preview for the next episode was kinda trash. At least we got to see Vegeta and Piccolo fight a little, and of course, we had Arinsu. So just for that, I'll give this episode a 5, right in the middle. If you haven't liked this video yet, go ahead and smash that like button to support us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. Share this video with any Dragon Ball fans you know, and don't forget to check out our Patreon if you want to support our work, especially Dragon Ball Hakai, the amazing story where Goku becomes a god of destruction. Thanks so much to everyone who stuck around till the end. I'm counting on you all for the next video.